How's it going? Welcome back. This is Chris with Chris's Comments. Sorry I haven't been here in a while. I've been working quite a bit. Things have just now started to ease up to where I can actually join you guys again here on the YouTube nation and with the podcast that I'm about to do, Chris's Comments on anchor.fm. This here is a touchy subject for me because it involves Biden, who's authorizing crack pipes for consumers. Okay, drug users, particularly crack, in this particular issue and this subject, can actually buy brand new clean syringes and crack pipes through the healthcare industry. And I think that's good. There's a reason for it. All the conservatives are getting in an uproar. They're outraged. They don't understand how the president can do that. They think that the president is trying to destroy us and get us more addicted to crack and try to kill us through drugs and be slaves to drug dealers and all this stuff and everything. And because he's this dirty, disgusting, whatever person. All that is yet another reason why not to vote Republican. They don't understand. They won't understand. Here's what we, the ordinary people, understand. Addiction. Addiction. Yeah, if you know anything about an addiction, it is one of the most toughest things to deal with in your life. Today's drugs are way more addictive than they were in my day. I used to be a drug user. I used to smoke dope and I used to snort coca, and I'd combine it with cigarettes and alcohol. And that's how I lived off of that stuff for the longest time, starting at the age of 14, where I got my connection. And various times through different connections as I moved around throughout the course of time into adulthood, where it started to become a normal thing to use up until the age of 28, when I got busted for, of all things, DWI, just this one time that I was just simply drunk. Now, the reason why I quit at that time when I got busted is because right when I first started this, I had made a promise to myself back at the age of 14. If I was to ever get caught, that would mean that I'd lose it. That would mean that I deserved it. You know, I was bigger than that. I was more responsible than that. I was a better adult than anybody would ever, assume that I would take me for. So 14 years later, when I'm 28, I get busted just simply for drinking, and that's when I decided to quit. I lived up to my promise. Now, here's the difference between somebody like me, who quit in the year 2001, August 27, 2001. That was my rebirth date. And somebody that's trying to quit like that, somebody like that now can't make that kind of a promise to him or herself. Because all of the drugs are addictive, far more addictive than they were in my day. In my day, everything was still pure in its own sense. Cocaine, for example. Cocaine nowadays is so, one of the things that you have to do to filter to get at crystallization is to string it through a filter using gasoline after you've baked it. But here's the thing: the more gas is in there, the less cocaine there is. The more the cocaine is destroyed, and that pain relief sensation that lets you keep partying, the thing where all of your aches and pains and need for sleep tends to, go away. Or if you're using it as a sedative for sleep, the power effect that cocaine has goes away. And you start to become a hell of a lot more scatterbrained, because you're more snorting gas than you are cocaine. You're more snorting, and to top it all off, you could be losing a lot of the lactose, which is baby formula baby powder lactose, which soothes the pain going up your nostrils. Okay? When you take a snort and you're already bleeding, well, that means your lactose is just gone, In my day, cocaine was still the primary source of that drug, that pain relief that kept me going. Okay? Later on, as it became less and less pure, it's more scatterbrained, which therefore made it more addictive, because it's a chemical now that's taken over as opposed to the plant. Well, that became a lot more addictive all the way up until the 2020s, where now cocaine is mixed in with fentanyl. Now, in my days, I used to work in construction, and I used to take speed to keep the heart rate going, and the cocaine to numb the pain. And that would get me going with a lot of, keep up with the construction workers. I was very young at the time, but, it's what I felt that I needed to do. Now, this day and age, speed has fentanyl in it. Cocaine has fentanyl in it. Crack was existent when I was in my early teens, back in the 1980s. And that alone was addictive. Now, mixed with fentanyl here in the 2020s, it's a hell of a lot more difficult to get rid of, to walk away from. You can't walk away from it the way an old timer like me could. Okay? It was a struggle, don't get me wrong. Do I miss it? Yes. But after all this time, I'm not in any hurry to go back to it. Especially now how I see everybody now. This stuff has gotten way more potent, way more powerful, and way more addictive. It's far more difficult to stop. It's virtually impossible unless you get the right treatment. One of those treatments is the reduction of the drug. One of those things that helps is a system. In this case, the healthcare system. That's what's actually given us the plan with a process to reduce it as you go on buying from the healthcare industry. Okay, this is what the opioids thing was supposed to be. Okay, and so we got to watch out for the companies, even though technically we're looking at crack pipes and syringes, not necessarily the drug itself. We're looking at the tools to help reduce the drug intake, not the drugs itself. The drugs itself, however, can be administered and controlled through the system to where you're following a plan that makes your system reduce the number of intakes of drug intake. And that's the key thing about this, which, again, going back to politics, because this was authorized by Joe Biden, President Biden. Okay? It makes complete sense given the fact that he is a man whose son was addicted to drugs. I'm sure this was a plan that he probably should have gone after and pursued. Even if he had to, strong arm his boy into following this plan, leading it to where by the time he's capable of walking away from it, comes then the final decision from the addict. Speaking as a former addict, choice is what you need. once you make that choice, once you're ready for it, you can actually clear from it. But that's an entirely different path, condition. One of the first primary conditions is to start a process to where you're reducing the drug intake. Okay? You're lowering the amounts as you go along. Help from a plan or an organization or whatever helps will it will increase the chances of that happening. And in this case, where going to some meditation membership won't cut it. In this case, where seeing a shrink won't just cut it. In this case, where relying on family won't cut it. In this case, where doing the whacked out trips that I did won't cut it. And what I mean by that is that I used to replace drugs with food. And because I wound up getting obese, I replaced that with exercise. And because I got tired of exercise, I replaced that with fishing. I was always fishing, but I was a hardcore fisherman while I was trying to stay sober. I replaced that with hunting. I replaced that with food again. Because, when you're hunting and fishing, you're getting food. I replaced that with cooking. I replaced it with karate. I replaced karate with food again. I replaced that with salesmen, getting addicted to selling door to door and all this other stuff, trying to make a living and profiting and all this good stuff. And I replaced that with food again. Now I'm just a heavy eater. I'm not a heavy eater. I'm a controlled eater, but I love all types of food. It turns out I'm allergic to no food ingredient. I don't care how spicy the curry is. I can eat it. I don't care how bland that that oyster is. I can eat it. The clam meat is actually very bland. Oyster and squid meat is very bland. I can eat that also. It turns out I'm addicted to. I'm allergic to nothing. I'm allergic to no food ingredient. And this took place throughout the years to where now it was August 27, 2001 when I quit. We're now into 2022 and I'm doing good. But again, it took a lot of that wackiness of going this path, that path, this girlfriend, that girlfriend. One time I was even common law married. But I did whatever it took to get away from that old world, that old life of mine. And it worked. It doesn't quite work now because of how strong and potent those drugs are. It doesn't quite work now because of the fentanyl added into everything that makes it strong. Crack was strong as it was. Crack was cocaine and I already forgot what it was. Crack was a mixture of two different drugs that made it very strong as it was. Now mixed with fentanyl in this century, in this millennia, it's incredibly difficult to quit. And you need as much help as you can. And here comes a president with a plan in the system, the healthcare system, and it's not so much a different drug, it's the tools. It's the tools and as part of the plan, the system to help quit. Now, does this mean everything's going to be okay? No. Like I tried saying earlier about the opioid condition, the drugs were there to try to reduce the opioid addiction, but the company got so corporate greedy that they made more addicts. Okay? So we as a society technically have to look out for this. Okay? Fentanyl itself is supposed to be a drug tool that's supposed to be used to help reduce the drug intake. However, drug dealers of illegal narcotics are now mixing it with the illegal narcotics, making it more addictive. So we have to go to be very careful of what we're doing with this new system of new syringes and new crack pipes. One of the best ways to see results out of this, and even though this is just a prediction, but I have a solid leg to stand on. Right now, on the internet, and on the radio, and on television, and in any other form of communication that there is, the right wing, the conservatives, the strong Christian base, the good, healthy, all-American families, they are all opposed to this technique that helps addicts reduce the drug intake. They're opposed to it. They're fear-mongering everybody into believing that Biden wants us all addicted to crack, that Biden wants our children to be addicted, that Biden wants our elderly to take crack and die, that Biden is trying to destroy America and all this stuff. Biden is going by a method that should have been done and exercised properly throughout the presidents before him. Okay, now it's his turn. A father of a drug addict who lost his son through this. Okay? Biden is doing a technique that is nowhere near the horror and doomsday crap that the right is trying to make you believe, which leads to, on a political level, just another reason to stop voting for the Republicans. Anything Republican, anybody, what do you call it? That Sanders is socialist. Anybody like that. To hell with them. To hell with them. They don't understand this. They won't understand this. That's the big thing here. It's not that they can't. They're not dumb. They are, however, ignorant, which is dumb. Because it doesn't say that they don't understand. It says they won't understand. And if you're going to go around with that kind of mentality, fine. Just don't take leadership in our country. Don't run any policies. Don't process any systems. Don't speak anything about it. Just go. Just plain leave. This is another reason why not to vote Republican, why not to vote anybody conservative, why not to vote for anybody liberal, because liberals will just say drugs are legal. And you don't really want that, not while it's still in control of the underground. You want that to be under an entirely different circumstance, okay? Don't vote liberal, don't vote Republican, don't vote conservative or green, whatever, independent. Don't vote independent. Don't vote any of that stuff. Vote blue all the way through this year. Because when you got a president, when you got some politicians that are this understanding, all the way up to the presidency, people, the choice isn't, the choice is very clear. You know, it's very clear where to go from here. And that's that. Now, there, before time runs out, there is probably going to be a question. So what happens when it doesn't work? Well, first off, the tools that are being authorized to be used in a system, that plan will work. But there will be people that are going to fall off the wagon. There are people that are going to fall off the wagon. There are going to be people that are going to be going into an entirely different path. There's some that are going to be going right back into it. And that entails what this former drug user is going to state and stand by. Individual choice. That one person still needs to be the one to actually follow it through, to see it through and lead himself, his or herself, all the way to the point to where he or she can walk away from it. If they can't, then help them try again. Help them try again and help them do it all over again. It's worth it. It's worth falling and getting back on your feet to the point to where you can actually get to the point of walking away from that narcotic or that habit or that addiction controlling you. It's worth it. It'll always be worth it. So when you see somebody that fails, do not assume that the system doesn't work. That person failed and has to start all over again. That's all that says. And that's all that there really is to say. That's what's going to be reminded, especially on this show, a Common Sense on Common Ground show. That's gonna, if I have to tell you again and again and again, I'm gonna, because I've been there, and I'm gonna, I know there's a lot that have been also. I know there's a lot that have fallen. I know there's a lot that are picking themselves up to try again and again and again until this stuff is no longer chain and balled to them. Okay? So that's the deal there, everybody. For right now, keep staying safe. If you're an addict, look into this process. Don't be scared. Dive into it. And get started on your recovery. For those who are skeptical, you're nobody to listen to in saying that it's a wrong thing, wrong process, and all this other stuff, that it's never going to work. To hell with you. And if you guys got any stories to share, go for it. Remember, it's at atownmytown at gmail.com. atownmytown, however you want to look at it, at gmail.com, all one word. I'll go ahead and post it on the description below. For right now, y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. Stay safe out there. Remember, we still got an Omicron, and we got the BA2, which is harder to detect. It's COVID-19. Its mutation is Delta variant. That mutation is Omicron, Delta variant, which is a lot clingier than COVID-19 original form. Omicron, just as clingy as the Delta variant, but spreads faster. And then BA2, which is Omicron, but harder to detect. So stay safe out there. I'm still wearing my masks. I'm still wearing it. It's like 2 years old now. Home is where you park it. It's still one of my favorite masks that I've made. You guys, take care. Stay safe out there. Always wash your hands and keep social distancing and get your vaccinations. I need to get mine updated soon because I took my shot in April. We're now in February of the following year. And I want my shots. And that booster. So that's just me there. Also, know your body. Do your research first and check with your doctor to see how you can take it. I grew up with it. Measles, mumps, immunization shot, allergy shot. What do you call it? The kind that thins out the blood so that way you don't have high diabetes, higher chances of diabetes. I've been inoculated all my life. When I get an antivirus, antibiotic shot, an antiviral shot, a vaccination shot, I am feeling wonderful, but my body can handle this. My body can handle it. I don't know if yours can. So see your doctor first, okay? But definitely do whatever it takes to get that medicine that you need to keep on going, okay? Stay safe out there. Keep with especially the distance, the 6-foot distance. I love it, especially at the grocery store. I can't tell you how many times I wanted to pick up that space bar and just stay over there. So y'all have a good one. Take care. Stay safe. Don't vote Republican, especially now that we're seeing what they're doing with trying to take down crack. You know, it's a method. It's part of a system, and it'll work. It works for everybody that actually applies themselves to it. And every repug, every conservative, just don't listen to them. Especially don't vote for them. Okay. This is Chris with Chris's Comments. Common sense on common ground. Y'all take care. Y'all have a good one.